Hi everybody. The second tutorial is going to walk you through the main tools available to you in Desire to Learn as you are designing your courses. And these you can access from this navigation bar at the very top of your screen. Course Home, as you would expect, will take you here. Content, this is really the heart of course design in Desire to Learn. This is the place where you not only upload stuff, so in a way this is your course documents / packets in Educator. It's also where you can link things and bring them together into a logical flow of activities for your students. So what you see here right now is basically an outline of a course. These larger categories are called modules. So if you want to add a module to a course, you click on New Module. That essentially creates a folder. The way to use these most effectively is then to think about the logical breakdown of how you want your course to flow. This course is broken up by week. You could also break it up by unit, by subject matter. Beneath each module, you then have specific topics, which are the resources students will use in learning. Now, this can be content. You see here, for example, a PDF file has been uploaded. Here, a web page has been uploaded and created. Here, however, you see something different. This is pointing to another tool in Desire to Learn. This is a checklist. Here you have the Module 2 quiz. Down here you have a link to, I was hoping there was a discussion board here, another quiz, another checklist, course feedback, a final course survey. In other words, in this content area of the course, you not only use this for files the way you might course documents, it also is a place where you can put in one location everything your students need in the sequence in which they need to complete things. So what I can do is have week 1 my content they need to read underneath that, an assessment of some kind. I could link to a discussion board, I could link to a Dropbox, I could link to a group, all the things that students need in order to complete that module successfully. Now if I click on View Content here, you'll get a glimpse into what this will look like for students, and it's an outline of the course. You have the power in Desire to Learn, and I'll talk about this when I do a tutorial on content, on creating modules and topics. You have the power to control when each item in your course is released. Now you can do that the same way we do it in Educator by setting dates. Don't release week 2 until the beginning of week 2. Or you can set release conditions. For example, I might have an exam at the end of week 1. I will require my students to get a passing grade on that exam. As soon as they get the passing grade that I've set, then week 2 will open up for them. So it's a very powerful way of orchestrating workflow for your students, guiding them through the course and making sure they don't get lost. So this, when students access your course, I would say best practice is make everything more or less accessible here. They will also be able to find discussions by clicking up here, or Dropboxes by clicking up here. But why make them do that when Desire to Learn lets you link all of that into this outline of activity? Okay, so that is content. Now, one thing you will see consistent throughout Desire to Learn, a couple of things before I show you the other tools quickly. First of all, you will always have this box of settings and options appropriate to that specific tool. Oftentimes you'll see reports. This is very common. This allows you to see how your students are using whatever that specific resource is. Settings will allow you to set settings for that particular tool. Manage files will here bring you into the file manager for Desire to Learn. This is a central repository, and I'll talk to you about this again a little bit more when we get to this specific tool. But at any rate, you'll have options here or tools here that are specific to where you're working. There will always also be an instructions box which will remind you of what that area of the course is for. So if you've been clicking around and exploring, you can revisit this to see where you are, what you want to be doing there. Along the top, you'll typically have an icon with a wrench, which tells you that this is where you go to add, delete, move things around. An icon with a plus sign. The icon itself will vary depending on the area, but the plus sign will say this is where you create a new category. Another icon with a plus sign that allows you to create an item in that category, so a new module. This creates that folder, that general outline. New topic creates an item within that. An option usually to add multiple topics, and again the icon is representative of that. Instead of one page of paper, you've got 2 pages of paper, and then an icon to allow you to reorder, rearrange things within that. Each item will also offer you its own settings. Within the modules you can add content directly. Everything will always allow you to click on this little pencil to edit things. This we are is kind of, I won't get into this in any of these tutorials, but to edit metadata for purposes of putting things in a repository. So that is the content area of the course in a nutshell. Discussions very similar. You create forums and topics. These are general categories. So for example, you might have a few discussions for Unit 1. So you will have a Unit 1 forum, topic or general category. Within that, you can create specific topics, which are those specific discussion boards. So here are our forums here. Let's discuss using the tools in Desire to Learn. This in itself will not take us to a discussion, but it takes us to these specific discussion topics. Then when I click on this, I will come into that specific discussion board. I will talk more about the specifics of the discussion boards in D2L in another tutorial as well, but it's extremely powerful. Dropbox is a tool that you will use somewhat like assignments in Educator. This is a space you create where students can upload their work. Testing will take us to D2L's quiz tool. They use the term quiz, but it really is every type of assessment you can think of. Full-blown exams to simple quizzes, and again a very powerful tool. Grades will take us to the grade book, and again you can populate this. You get a complete student list. Of course, every time you create an assessment of any kind in Desire to Learn, it gets plugged in here, or you can come in here and create assessments, and I may touch on this briefly in a tutorial later on. But I may not, because you don't really need it for that module of instruction you'll be creating for me. And finally, class list, as you would expect, a list of your students and some options for tracking their progress and for contacting them. So that is a quick overview of the basic tools in Desire to Learn.